In this video, we will learn how to evaluate arguments and claims in persuasive writing. Our learning objective is to be able to analyze Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s argument in Letter from Birmingham Jail and delineate and evaluate his arguments and claims. Let's quickly break down a couple of those terms. To delineate an argument means to be able to break the argument down into its separate pieces. And to evaluate an argument means to look critically at an argument's strengths and weaknesses. But let's begin with a question about claims. Think of a claim you might make about something you feel strongly about. How would you state and defend that claim? For example, I may claim that Star Wars is the greatest film franchise of all time. That would be my claim. I might defend that claim by pointing out that the franchise has survived for nearly 50 years. I might also point out that Star Wars is the highest grossing franchise of all time, worth over $28 billion. Next in line would be Harry Potter. Finally, I might add that Star Wars revitalized the science fiction genre that was dying out in the mid 1970s when the first film was released. Science fiction owes a lot to Star Wars. In other words, my argument is that Star Wars is the greatest film franchise in history. My claims are the longevity, financial success, and influence of the franchise. We have just successfully delineated my arguments and claims. Martin Luther King Jr. makes several arguments throughout Letter from Birmingham Jail, mostly in response to the criticisms he received from local clergymen. And Dr. King was a master at persuasive writing and backed up his arguments with solid claims and evidence. This is why his letter is still studied today in schools across the nation. As you read through this skill and revisit the letter, ask yourself how King responds to the criticisms that he was an outsider, that his timing of the protests was poorly planned, and how he should have sought change through the court system rather than public demonstration. What counter arguments does he make against those criticisms? And what claims and evidence does he use to defend those arguments? And that brings us to our tasks for this skill lesson. First, if you haven't already, watch the concept definition video and read the introduction on tab 1. This will better help you understand the concept of this skill. Next, complete the vocabulary drag and drop activity on tab 2 to familiarize yourself with the terms being used with this skill. Unfamiliar words like delineate can make this a tricky skill to grasp. Next, carefully read through the model page. The top half of the page provides specific instructions for applying this skill. The bottom half gives a student example. Pay close attention to how the student annotates the text and the comments that she makes about King's arguments. Ask yourself how she understands King's conclusion about outsiders in relation to his claims. Also, what does she note about King's claim about laws? Finally, when you're ready, complete the Your Turn activity on tab 4 and check your results. Delineating and evaluating arguments and claims is an advanced skill that takes some practice and careful reading. Give yourself time to work through this. If at any point you feel lost, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you work through this.